Om Shanti. So tomorrow, the world will be celebrating the International Day of Yoga. So at the United Nations too, everyone is going to gather, and then everyone is going to do some yoga asanas, some postures, and some celebration and things like that, right? So that's what everyone does. But International Day of Yoga, is yoga just for one day? And what is yoga? So everyone thinks, when they think about yoga, mostly the intellect goes towards the physical body. Okay, let's have this yoga posture or that yoga posture. And many times, even when people call at the center, the meditation center, they ask, should we get a mat? Should we get, what kind of clothes we have to wear and things like that. But then yoga is not just for the physical body, right? Of course, yoga means to connect. So we connect to the physical body these days, in the form of postures and all. But it's mostly to the mind, whatever, it's the posture of the mind, right? So physically we may sit in different postures, but what about the posture of the mind? If physically we sit, but the mind is wandering, then is that yoga? Did you ever think, how is the posture of my mind? Is the posture of my mind quiet, still? Do I hold? How long do I hold? And so RajaYoga takes us inwards. Whereas there, when people talk about yoga, it's more external, right? Externally doing postures and all of that. But RajaYoga is something that is actually taking us within, inwards. Inwards to the soul, inwards to the being, inwards to the self. And so if you look at the word RajaYoga, Raja means it's like the king. The soul, the being is the king. Right? The being. So do we all like to be the kings, right? Meaning we all like to be the masters. Nobody wants to be subservient. Anybody likes to be subservient? No. Everyone likes to be master. Well, we all like to be master, but yet we are all actually living being a subservient. We are subservient to so many things in life. Unknowingly, we are subservient to time. We are subservient to people. We're subservient to our own senses. We are subservient to our own mind. We're subservient to our ideas. We're subservient to our own ego. We're subservient to attachments. And we are subservient to even food, right? These days, such an imbalance of intake of food. And that's why today, these days, a lot of people are becoming aware of eating the right food because our bodies are not working properly. So in this way, it's like, you are going, it's like you're, everyone wants to be a master, but somewhere we are not realizing that we are a subservient to everything. So now we have to go back to that self-mastery. We have to be those masters. But how will I gain that self-mastery? Now, mastery, it's like, being a master is not on others, because there's this powerful term, sovereignty. Sovereignty means what? It's like you have that sort of ownership. Ownership not on others. We all like to have ownership on others, right? We want to rule on others. Everyone likes to rule on others. But it's like the ownership, instead of others, I have to turn inwards and look at myself. Do I have ownership of my own mind, first of all? We always complain, people don't listen to me. Oh, you don't listen. But does my own mind listen to me? I need to ask myself. It's my mind. So when my mind doesn't listen to me, how others are going to listen to me? Right? So Raj Yoga is that practice where I slow down. Even now, right now, whatever you're doing, just pause for a few moments. Slow down your activity. Slow down your thinking, slow down your physical movement. It's like even these senses, no? Many times we think like, oh, I don't want to see something, but I'm still seeing it. Like somewhere I've lost that sense of ownership or control. But again, it's not about controlling, but it's about, having that sort of ownership, that mastery. When I'm a master, naturally everyone bows down. But it's not physically, we're not talking about, recently it's like when I asked someone who is very young, I asked her, like, do you want to be powerful? She said, no. I asked why. She said, no, power means it's like, you are stepping on someone. No, that's position. It's like that is ego, which is coming from, sort of ownership, or it's like sort of position. Ego is very different from power. Power is connected to the soul. It's a soul power. And having this soul power is very essential, right? When there is soul power, I'm able to cope with things. When there is soul power, it's like just like a physical muscle. When I have the muscle, it's like naturally it's doing its work. So in the same way, mastery means it's like, it's not that I have to now rule on this. I have to now control on this. No, mastery means naturally you are in that space of ownership, and your mind, your intellect, your habits, everything is like obeying you. Your sense organs are obeying you. It's like, I have to control my eyes. I don't want to see this. No, not that. Sovereignty is very powerful. Like when somebody has that purity inside them, that sovereignty inside, it's like when they're sovereign, it's like self-sovereign. You are inside very, very stable. When you're powerful, everything around you will will obey you. Even the nature, everything, right? Nobody wants to obey or bow to ego. But everyone and everything will bow to purity. And so returning to self-sovereignty means returning to your own purity, your own essence, your own mastery, which is very powerful. You're understanding, right? It's like some people, when you go in front of them, naturally you want to just listen to them. No, naturally you feel respectful for them. Naturally you want to obey to them what they're saying. You will just become very calm, quiet. But when there is someone, it's like you'll think, oh, when this person is going to leave. Or even they're like, bossing around, they're saying, do this, do this. You're like, you don't want to do it. But because of circumstances, you will have to do it sometimes. So that's the difference of self-mastery Having that self-sovereignty is naturally everything comes to you rather than you running behind anything. But somebody who has a physical sort of, that sort of ego or sort of ownership, then you want to like control everything. You run behind people like, do this way, do this way. So Raj Yoga brings us back to that kind of self-sovereignty, that kind of self-mastery where you're so filled with purity, stability. It's like you get in touch with your own self. You know who you are. Because that's the most profound and powerful thing in the world. Don't you think so? Knowing who am I? If I ask you, who are you? And you're scratching your head, I forgot, who am I? Yeah, who am I? How strange it'll look when I don't know who am I and I cannot introduce myself, right? So knowing myself is living in that dignity. Knowing myself is like I'm very comfortable in myself, in my skin. Knowing myself is having that inner stability and not like fluctuating, right? I'm stable inside. So it's a very powerful element to know myself and to be myself. So in Raja Yoga, we learn that who am I? My true spiritual identity. We all understand our physical identity, right? This identity of this physical body and where I belong, what's my name and where do I live and what are my qualifications. These are all acquired physical identity. But just go back and think, were you born with your name? Were you born with your qualification? No. Were you born with the religion? Were you born with the nationality? No. As I was born, I existed even before all of these things. So what is my spiritual identity then? What is my true identity? So Raj Yoga brings us back to the true identity, and that's my first lesson. My first lesson of who am I is a very, very profound thing. And not many really pay attention to this. Because if I don't know who am I, how will I continue my journey? So understanding is one thing, and being and practicing and being is another thing. So in Raj Yoga, we learn that I am the master, I am the soul beyond, even before I have acquired this body. Who acquired the body? The soul acquired the body. Who acquired a name? The body. The body then got a name, a place to live, a nationality, a religion, a relationship, all kinds of things we have acquired. But who acquired all of this is the soul. So my true identity is that I am a soul. So many learn this. Yes, there is a soul inside me. That's how people speak. And they say, I have a soul. If you have a soul, then who are you? Right? I have a soul. Okay, I have a soul. Then who am I? It's like, okay, if I say I have a body, then it makes sense. Okay, if I have a body, then I'm a soul. Right? I, the soul, I have a body. If I say I have a soul, then who am I? I'm definitely not the body. Because if I'm the body, then the body perishes. It finishes. But as a soul, as a being, I'm eternal. I'm imperishable. Right? I'm immortal. Right? So my spiritual identity is I am a soul. It's not that I have a soul. So if I'm a soul, then I should experience being I'm a soul. As I walk and move around, I am a soul. This is my first lesson really in spirituality. This is where I start my homework. This is where I start my practice. And then everything actually I continue to do. Then there are end results. But this is my first and foremost profound basic practice, which Raja Yoga teaches me. And that is why it is called Raja Yoga. So yoga means connecting, remembering, right? Connecting where? Where am I connecting? All this time we connected to physical body, people, everything that is physical. Now connecting to spiritual, that is connecting to the self, I, the being, I, the soul, I, that immortal being. Right? And it's a very, very profound experience. It's like knowing myself. When I know myself, then I'm able to connect to the blueprint that the soul has, the eternal qualities of the soul. So we will come to that eternal qualities, but just understand and experience this. What it means to be, I am a soul. How does it feel when I experience I am a soul? Just think for a moment. Not just grasp this from the head space, but pause and slow down and think for a moment and feel it. How does it feel when I remove all the layers of physical identities? These false identities, because I'm not even this, because I've acquired this, and one day I can also lose them. They'll finish. But coming to my true identity as a soul, I am a soul. And where is the soul? Right here in the center of the forehead. A very tiny point of light. An invisible being. I cannot see the soul with these physical naked eyes. Because a soul is a metaphysical being. A very tiny point of light. Can you experience right now as you're listening to this? And what are you feeling as you're listening and experiencing this? Can you see yourself? I am the spiritual being. A beautiful, like a diamond sparkling right here. And just experience as if the entire room is just dark. It's like as if your body fades away, only the diamond shines. I am that light, I am that diamond, I am the soul. Feel it. And as I become this very light, beautiful point of light, the diamond, what's the experience I'm having? I instantly feel light. A very beautiful sense of lightness. Very light. There is no heaviness of any body. There is no heaviness of anything that is physical. I'm just light. I'm a soul. Right. So think for a moment, is the diamond precious or the box in which the diamond is precious? The diamond is precious, right? You will not care about the box. You will care about the diamond. Think, oh, I have the box, but the diamond isn't there. There's no value for the box. The box also has value only when there is diamond in it. So the physical body functions or has a value, has a name, has an identity only when there is soul. So I am that soul. I am that being. And as I walk and move around in this experience of I being the soul is experience of Raja Yoga. This is the first practice and experience of Raja Yoga, in which the soul is regaining its mastery. I am the master. It's like I, the soul, is the master of all these senses. I, the soul, seeing through these eyes. So I know what to filter through these eyes. I know what to see and what I what, I can filter and not see. I, the soul, listening through these ears, and I have the power, I am the master to filter what to listen and what not to listen. So when I'm not, so being in this consciousness that I'm a soul using these senses is called soul consciousness, right? Experiencing I'm a soul is soul consciousness. But when I'm the opposite of this is body consciousness, right? When I'm body conscious, what happens? I, the soul, is completely dormant. In a slow soul, I, the soul, I've forgotten my identity totally. So just think if a king who is sitting on a throne and he forgot, I'm a king, what happens? Nobody listens to him. In the same way, today we have forgotten our own self as a being, as a soul, so nobody listens. No sense organ is listening to me. And that's why I don't want to see something and I'm seeing it. I have lost that ownership or that, that sort of obedience from my sense organ. But if I reverse that, I am a soul looking through these eyes, I'm using these eyes, then I have that sort of sense of control, right? I'm able to filter. In the same way, I don't want to listen to something and I'm listening to it, right? And then I get disturbed listening to something. In the same way, seeing, watching something, get disturbed. Oh, why did I watch that? But when I have that self-mastery, then I know where to filter, what to see and what not, what to listen and what I should just neglect. And the same way, control over my tongue, right? Sometimes we just say things and then say, oh, I didn't mean like that, right? Oh, that was not my intention, but you already said it. Things are already crumbling there. And sometimes we think, oh, because I need to correct this and I have to say like this. No, there is another way to say. But then sometimes we just use our tongue to say things which we shouldn't be saying. I'm lost that self-mastery over what to speak and where to keep quiet. It's like RajaYoga makes me experience the art of, it's like art of balancing. RajaYoga is an art of balancing. I will know how to balance. So balance of that silence and balance of action. Balance of silence and action. Right? It's like sometimes some keep speaking. There is no stop. There is no pause. They're just speaking. Right? They are not even seeing whether the other person is listening or not. Right? Is somebody understanding or not what I'm saying? But they're just... So the whole world is like that, really, if you see. Right? Nobody is listening to anyone. Everyone wants to speak. So what the other person wants, I don't even know, but I'm still speaking. Like that, nobody's listening to anyone. Right? And then there is chaos. Pause for a moment. It's like because all the time I am in this action, my senses are so active. They're out there, they're like listening, this, that, taking information. All the time, my mind is again busy, so busy. The mind is like thinking and thinking. So there is no silence. And because there is no silence, I'm not understanding where the other person is coming from. Because there is no silence, I'm not listening to them. I'm not actually experiencing, I'm not even understanding their feelings. So remember, this Raja Yoga is an art of balancing silence, going inwards, having that silence, it's like you're teaching your mind to become silent. And many complain about this. Oh, I can't actually, my mind doesn't listen to me. My mind doesn't listen to me. But then if you say, okay, give some time for yourself to do some meditation. Oh, I don't have time for everything. I have an excuse. Then how? Huh? This is difficult. I complain, and that is difficult. I complain. So where do I want to stand? Hmm? If I say, I have a problem of, with my anger, I have problem, my mind doesn't listen, I'm like overthinking, I have depression, okay, then you have all these symptoms. I have too much of stress, okay, then, it's difficult. Okay, it's difficult. Then why don't I take some time? Then do something about it. Am I doing something about it? No. Again, to do something also, I'll say what to do. I can't, I don't have time. I can't do this, and then complain here. So somewhere I have to live, either live with this difficulty or that difficulty. Choose one thing, right? In the same way, there are many things. It's like even with our physical body, right? We say what to do. My physical body is experiencing this, that I have pain here, I have pain there. Okay, then doctor will say, go to physical therapy. Or do this, do this. Okay, eat less. Then we'll say, oh no, how can I eat less? I can't control. I have too many cravings. I don't have time to go to therapy. Therapy, it's too hard to do. Exercise is too hard. Then live with either this difficulty or that difficulty. But we want to complain about both and don't want to do anything. Right? So how it is going to happen? Not going to happen. So somewhere I have to do something. So if I complain, my mind is thinking too much, then take some time. Take some time, sit with your child, with your mind, talk to your mind. Check what your mind is doing, right? It's just like, when we complain, oh, my child is not listening, my child is all over the place, my child is this and that. But then as a parent, what is my responsibility? What is my duty? My duty is to sit with my child, spend some time with my child, right? Know what is going on with the child. If I just complain and not give time to my child, how it's going to patch up? How that relationship is going to grow? No. In the same way, if I'm complaining, I have too many thoughts, I have waste thoughts, I have negative thoughts. I don't know what to do. I'm overthinking. My mind is so disturbed. I have no peace of mind. When I say all of these things, then I have to do something about it. So Raj Yoga is that practice where it'll take me inwards and help me as a master, as a soul to talk to my mind. So the soul is the parent and the mind is the child. So the parent, I, the soul, I'm talking to my mind. And so this is one of the beautiful practices that Brahma Baba, the founder of this organization, did. Right? He used to sit, he used to talk to his mind. Oh, mind, what happened? Rather than just complain about the mind and, this is the condition of the mind, but every day giving some time. So what happens now? The mind will start to listen to me. Yes. The mind becomes silent. The mind naturally knows when to become silent, right? The mind naturally knows how to have meditation, right? I don't have to struggle, but I have to give that initial time, right? Anything is like that in life. If I want to learn anything in life, I need to give time. If I don't give time, how is that going to have a strong foundation? Right? So, in the same way, when I give this time, so silence. So, with that silence, I'm actually doing every action. So, silence and action. So, Raj Yoga helps me to create or develop that art of balancing. So I'm balancing this silence and action And at one point, the silence and action gets integrated as well. So Raj Yoga is also the art of integration. So many times we say in our life, oh, that world, when I go into that world and this world, we separate it, right? We say, oh, when I come to meditation center, it's beautiful. When I go to work, it's not, right? No, in that world, it's very difficult. That's what we say. And many times we use this word, it's difficult, 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 so many times, and make it really difficult. It's like you're scaring your mind, right? It's difficult, you're difficult. Then how is your mind going to do it anyway? If you're telling your child, this is very difficult paper, this is very difficult subject, very difficult subject. Now, what is in the child's mind? He doesn't want to touch that subject at all because it's difficult. I don't want to deal with this difficult subject, right? I don't want to even do this. No, it's too difficult. So like that, if I'm telling my mind, it's like, oh, this meditation is difficult. This is very difficult. So mind will not do it. Right? Already I have programmed it is difficult. So why will mind go there? So when I say this world is different and that world is different, and so this is where we separate it, so, right? It's like when I'm at work or when I'm in action, I'm like in a total buzz, right? I'm so extroverted, too much thinking and all of that. And then when we think, oh, I need meditation now, I'm so exhausted. But Raj Yoga teaches us the art of integrating. You need to integrate. My life has to be a meditation. It's a lifestyle. It's not that it's separate. And that's why sometimes when we think it's two different worlds, then one day I meditate and then 5 days I'm not meditating. So when I think it's two different worlds, then I don't know how to integrate. But it is all about integrating. So I'm bringing silence into my action. I'm bringing my inner stability into my action. In the same way, Raj Yoga also makes me experience the qualities of the soul, the blueprint of the soul, the inner goodness that the soul has. That is peace, love, happiness, power, bliss, truth. All of these qualities the soul experiences. But this is what we all want, right? Right? But we are searching at a wrong place, all of these. So Raj Yoga is that method of meditation which allows me to turn inwards and experience the qualities of the soul, the being. I am just not a soul, but I am a peaceful soul. I am a powerful soul because as I think, whatever I think, so I am. And already I have this goodness. If you remember last week, we had such a beautiful session on goodness. You remember? We were talking that each soul has this goodness. And if we all shine our light on this goodness, we can do wonders. But we are so busy in our lives that we are not. And so it's important to slow down and give some time for this practice of Raja Yoga. Experience being this master, I, the soul, who has all these qualities. I'm experiencing these qualities. And anything, it is about slowing down and learning properly. Don't rush, rush, rush. Can you finish? Sometimes okay, I want to do this Raj Yoga in 3 days, 4 days. I want to finish as soon as possible. I want to finish. How will you, If you ask someone, I mean, if you ask your engineers or, I mean, your construction workers, if you ask them, uh, make this foundation in 1 week, build this foundation in 1 week, and the next week you want the first floor, and the next week you want the second floor. What happens by the time third floor? What happens by the time you have the third floor? Om Shanti, right? Everything would come down. And then again, you will have to restart. So, like that, because some don't give proper time and attention, that foundation is not built properly. And because that foundation is not built properly, I'm just meditating, okay, I'm meditating 5 years, 10 years, but nothing. I'm really not meditating. I really don't experience anything out of it. There is no inner transformation. And it's the same place, still juggling with the same old stories, same old complaints, and same old problems. Why? Because I haven't actually created a strong foundation. That's why anything I learn, I need to give proper time. If I want to do everything quick, fast, it won't work like that. I mean, I'm not saying that you have to give proper time. Doesn't mean like, okay, to learn something, I'll take 1 month. No, it's not like that. But focus, attention, concentration, interest. Need to have that interest. If I don't have interest, what's the point? Right. So when I have these ingredients and I learn, then I become very, very perfect in it. Even dance, any art form, music, dance especially, and you learn a nice, proper classical dance. They don't teach you, okay, do this way, fast. These days, dance is like fast. But even to go to that level of fastness, you have to begin slow, right? You need to know the movement very clearly. If you have to move your fingers in certain way, you need to exactly know how to. But I just want to learn. It's not going to happen like that. You don't start with a fast pace. Slowly, steadily, learn properly. Learn what is said, only then. Otherwise, you will be doing the same thing for 10 years. I haven't learned yet because my foundation is so weak. So even to go to that fast pace of dance, I need to slow down with concentration, learn, get the grip, and then I can do a fast movement, right? So in the same way, Raja Yoga, this practice of meditation, is that powerful practice where it takes me inwards to myself, I, the soul, I, that Raja, the king, the master, and all these senses. I'm working through these senses. So now it's time for I, the master, to work through senses, not just sit and complain about these senses, but work through these senses. So one is that these are physical senses I have, these eyes and ears and mouth and hands and all of these. But then there are subtle senses of the soul. And what are the subtle senses of the soul? The mind, the intellect, and the impressions, the habits are the subtle senses of the soul. So we complain about these things too, right? My mind wanders, which we just spoke about it. And then the intellect also. I want to concentrate on something and I'm unable to concentrate. Like how much power of concentration do you have? How long can you focus on something? Focus and concentration are two different things, right? Focus is like you're looking at something. Your third eye is watching something. But concentration is like your intellect stays there with an experience. Your intellect catches that experience and you are in that experience. Say, for example, I'm a peaceful soul. Very simple example. I'm a peaceful being of light. I'm a peaceful soul. So your mind created the thought. right? And through your third eye, you're seeing it. You're visualizing, I'm a peaceful being. But then your intellect holds that concentration. And I am in that experience of being a peaceful being of light. So Raj Yoga helps me to, create and develop this powerful art of focusing and concentrating. Right? It's like many times we complain, I don't have concentration power, right? Now ask yourself, how long can you concentrate on something? These days, they say not even 2 seconds. Look at people who are having remote in their hands. Tuk, 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 tuk. These days, we had YouTubes, right? We have actually lengthy movies, you can call whatever, right? And then YouTube came, where you have short things like half an hour thing or, like 10 minutes thing. Now TikTok, right? Because our concentration span is so becoming lesser and lesser. We don't want anything more than 1-2 minutes. And then you want to go to the next. You see, our focus and concentration is becoming lesser and lesser and lesser. And so through Raj Yoga, I allow my intellect to stay still. I allow my intellect to move forward in that concentration. The soul, I have this intellect, and the intellect is so still and calm. It's not wandering. It's not wandering. Well, mind is like a monkey jumping, and then the intellect also goes where the mind goes. But the mind is quiet and the intellect is quiet. And one last thing about it is sanskars, or the impressions. So today our sanskars, again, sometimes we don't want to be angry and we are angry. We don't want to get upset, we are upset. We don't want to get irritated, we are irritated, right? We don't want to be greedy towards some things, and we are. So many things, like there are some habits. One are physical habits, like anything it could be, too often smoking or drinking or, food habits or whatever. Physical habits. One are subtle habits. So sometimes we are subservient to our own sanskars. Don't want to behave in certain way. I'm behaving again and again and again. It's a habit. So I have become subservient to my own habits. So Raj Yoga again gives me that power to have that sort of control or have that ownership and transform my sanskars, the unwanted sanskars, into something that is precious and, my the eternal qualities, right? Those eternal sanskars. Got it? That habits which are beneficial to me, that habits which supports me, those habits which make me a better person, a better human being, right? And so this is where Raj Yoga gives me that power over my mind, intellect, and sanskars. I know how to handle them better. And so one last thing about Raj Yoga is that, yes, we spoke all about becoming self-sovereignty. But if there is another step, if I miss that step, it's still incomplete to become self-sovereign. And that step is, one is going inwards is one step, which we just spoke about it, and going upwards is another step. So Raj Yoga is about inwards, upwards, and outwards. Is a practice of inwards, upwards, and outwards. So inwards is connecting to the soul, I, the being, which we spoke about it. And upwards is connecting to God, source, the power divine. If I miss that part, then it's still incomplete in becoming self-sovereign. You got it? Because where do I get ultimately that power? Sometimes I feel the battery is low here, right? Do you feel like that my battery is low? So what happens if the battery is low? I have to connect it to the source. So connecting to source for that peace, love, power, truth, bliss is very, very essential. It's powerful when I connect, right? So that step I cannot forget. So going upwards and connecting to God, who is the supreme light, who is the supreme source, who is the supreme power, is also very essential. And as we were discussing earlier, it's not that I need to transform someone out there. It's not that I need to influence someone out there. It's not about I need to, manage something out there. But when I have these two steps of inwards and upwards, when I experience that power, I naturally influence with this inner power out there. So it's outwards. So when I have that internal purity and power, I'm naturally exuding that out there. I'm naturally radiating that. And as we discuss, when I have that purity and power and that beautiful qualities in me, naturally everyone wants to come to me. Naturally everyone wants to obey. Naturally everyone wants to listen. So that sort of what do you call um, transformation I can bring out there, right? So this is what is about Raja Yoga, and it is profoundly said a return to self-sovereignty or self-mastery. So practice this every day, right? Practice this because we all want to be self-sovereigns, right? We all want to have that mastery. Anybody wants to be a subservient? No, nobody. So then I have to practice. If we complain about subservience, then I have to practice becoming master, all right? Self-mastery. So either one, right? Acha. So tomorrow is International Day of Yoga. So it's not just about a physical posture, it's the posture of the soul as well, that silence, that stability, and that inner power, right? And let that soul shine and be healthy and be, sovereign. Om Shanti. Okay. So just for a few moments, now allow all your senses to slow down. Slow down your senses, your physical body, your physical senses. There's nothing to watch out there. There's nothing to rush. Just slow down and just become very quiet. And as all the physical senses become quiet, now I look at my subtle senses, my mind. Is my mind quiet, silent? Is my intellect just focused, concentrated? And so I allow my mind and intellect also to calm down, and my sanskars too, my impressions. Just calm down for a few moments. And in this calmness, I see myself as a being of light. I am a master. I, the soul, I am a master, a radiant being of light. Beyond all these physical identities, I see myself as a soul, a tiny light, very calm, very light, precious, a diamond, sparkling. Experience this in a practical way. Experience the true identity of the soul. So this is a journey inwards, seeing myself. And now the journey upwards. I, the master, I, the soul, I, the light, go upwards to the supreme being of light, God, divine. I allow all the qualities of the divine to radiate on the soul. Ocean of peace, ocean of love being radiated. And I, the soul, absorbing and becoming the same, a master ocean of peace, a master ocean of love, a master ocean of purity. Now gently I come down back to this world and I radiate through my eyes. I radiate the ocean of peace, the light of peace and love to everyone around me, into the world. Very silently, I make a difference. I carry these qualities, this self-sovereignty. I feel sovereign. I am the master who has the power to influence the world in a positive way, in a pure way. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you so much.
Om Shanti, Sister Madhvi.